There's only 2 of us up there.
You're closer to the front of the stage than most drummers, so you can see what's going on.
I have to participate.
You haven't been watching the shows?
No, not at all.
Can I do that?
No.
Okay.
There will be none of that.
Okay.
You know, you're talking about the taxidermy thing off the top. People delve into your personal lives. Does that kill you? Do you hate that? I mean, you never get to talk about it, but...
I mean, I don't know. It just depends. I guess everything has its place, you know.
But do you ever find that you're in a situation where you just wish you could talk to somebody and make things public? You ever have that kind of weird moment?
Not
Make
really.
things public?
No, there's never been anything I wanted to make public.
They've been doing a good job of that on their own, haven't they?
I guess so.
Yes,
You know, that's
they're
cool.
very effective like that.
Time off. How much time off do you guys, do you get to a point where you're like, I need to go now?
Yeah, a lot of times. I mean, we just played Japan and Australia, New Zealand, and it was, I think we had 21 airplane rides in like 2.5 weeks or something like that. That starts to get, you know, you start to get really messed up because you don't know what time it is, you don't know when you're supposed to be asleep and when you're supposed to be awake, and you're just expected to play every night, you know. It's very difficult to keep that up, you know.
Do you click into autopilot? Can you actually just remove yourself from your own experience?
I think the problem is...
It's hard, you know. It's hard because it's like sit around, wait, and then, okay, be on! Play a really great show.
We don't use a
It's
set
hard to do
list,
that.
and we don't have, you know, any other people playing instruments in the band or anything too, or we don't play it like it is on the record every time. We play it sort of different every time, so we can't really phone it in, you know, because we don't really have that standard phone-in set or whatever it would be, you know. I don't know.
If you mess up, like everybody knows.
Yeah, I guess so. You know, sometimes some bands, if you're a guitar player and there's 2 other guitar players and a bass player and a keyboard player on stage, I mean, you can just pretend to play and no one will notice, you know. I can't really pretend to play.
You're like, man, I wish it was an Iron Maiden. They have 4 leads. Do you go through the whole battling loneliness when you're on the road and stuff and feeling disconnected from, you know, your world?
Yeah, actually, we sing a song that Leadbelly used to sing called Boll Weevil at the end of every show, most of the shows. And so talk about, we get the crowd to sing with us, he's looking for a home, that I'm looking for a home. Because it's kind of like that, you know, you kind of like, when you come back to Detroit, it seems like it's not really your home anymore. I mean, because it's just another stop off because you're on your way to Cleveland or Toronto or something.
Hey man, isn't that the home of Son House's death? Isn't that what happened there?
That's right, yeah.
I mean, you talk about some legendary stuff that happens in Detroit. For some artists, they are where they come from.
Yeah.
You know, for you, are you where you come from musically now?
Oh, it's completely. I can say that without a doubt. When I look back at what we did, music we've made, it sounds very Detroit to me. It sounds what I thought in my mind as a teenager what Detroit rock and roll was, the Stooges or you know, the MC5 or whatever it was. That's what it felt like was happening when we first started recording, I think.
Were you mad at Kiss when they wrote that song?
It's a little bit before my time, but I think I was born that year.
You're like, wait a minute, that's not... Detroit right now, if you it's the White Stripe sound and that sound, and then it's the Eminem sound, and it's this kind of weird little battle between, you know, a diversity in a city. And often that doesn't get represented properly, I think, within American urban centers. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
You know, when you travel across America, do you get the sense that there are things going on that people don't really know about?
You know, I don't know. I remember before we started going on tour, I remember thinking Detroit had such a great scene of bands, and there were so many good bands. And I thought every town had that same set of bands, you know, that we would go to another town and we'd discover their scene or whatever it was. When we first started going on tour, we started to realize that really other cities didn't really have it like Detroit had it, and I didn't know why, you know. We had like, you know, 20, 25 really amazing bands that were always playing every week. And we'd play other towns and local openers or whatever, local bands would open up for us, and it was never impressive. Like, we'd never get a hint that there was something else cooking around somewhere else. But I don't know, maybe we were just biased or something.
When's the moment, Meg, when you sat down in the kit and you went, oh, you know what, I'm doing this. Like, this is what I want to be a part of.
Well, it came sometime after the time that Jack tied me to the drum set.
Listen, you're gonna play.
I'm just kidding.
That's
I
not
don't
true.
know. It's I just like the drums, right?
Let's go back on the road for Speaker's Corner. Back out to Montreal. Montreal, another question for the White Stripes.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I'm in Montreal. I was just wondering, Jack, if the White Stripes ever come to an end, if you'd consider going back to upholstery and furniture.
Wow. a reference to perhaps one of Jack's earlier jobs. When your band's called the Upholsterers as well?
Yeah, it was sort of a project. I apprenticed for this man named Brian Muldoon, and he played drums and I played guitar. And after we were done work for the day, we'd set up the equipment and play in the upholstery shop. And we did that 45 as an art project called the Upholsterers. There are a couple of old covers and a song we wrote together. And yeah, I don't know if I'd go back to it. It's a very difficult job. I think it's one of the most difficult trades, you know. If you want to talk about it, I can go into depth about scroll gimp and, you know, button tufting and gooseneck webbing stretchers.
But think about the valuable lessons you learned, right? A, the value of the color red, and the value of the number 3.
Very much so, yeah. I learned a lot. I learned probably my best life lessons working in upholstery shops.
Except that his upholstery shop was all yellow and black.
That's right.
That's right. My upholstery shop was yellow, black, and white. Right?
Well, you were just dying to be in Striper. You're like, I gotta be in Striper.
I just wanted to confine myself always, you know. I like to be confined.
You picked the wrong job.
I guess so. No, well, you know how it is. I mean, I like to be boxed in. I like to. The band is a box, you know. I have to fight out of all the time. We purposely constricted ourselves and kept ourselves from expanding, you know. Always about constriction with this band, and that helps me create. It helps when I'm forced to do that. I create better, I think.
It can be a big challenge, though, on your own soul, can't it? To be put in that spot?
It's okay, because I think, you know, you have to remember like the art nowadays and musical creativity that in the last 20 years or so, because of all the digital technology and all the advancements in technology, people have felt that the job is easier, and that it's easier to record music and to write something amazing, and you can make you know. But the Beatles had 4 tracks, and they did Revolver and Sgt. Pepper on 4 tracks. You know, why should someone nowadays need 600 tracks on his computer? And you know what I mean? You're not constricting yourself. You're opening yourself up, but that opportunity is not really helping you. I think it's hurting.
I think they do it for the same reason like guys with small, you know, drive big cars. Perhaps for the same reason they're overcompensating for inability. Did you have a job, a part-time job that you looked to when you were younger and say that's where you learned valuable lessons?
I worked about every single job you possibly can in the restaurant industry. Basically, that was my early days.
And you learned what not to do, right?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
There you go. It's Meg.
I learned how to
it's
drink
Jack.
very effectively.
You know how to drink effectively? That's really a short-term thing, though. Eventually that will catch up.
Suppose, yeah.
It is Meg, it is Jack, it is the White Stripes. More with the Live and Much after this.
Oh man, I love the White Stripes, man. That bass line is ridiculous. Somebody need to sample that and like make it a hip hop song. It might be me.
Yeah, PDD's all over that.
Do it.
As the almighty Ludacris making a special appearance here on the Live and Much with the White Stripes. Ludacris wants to sample your beats. Is that the kind of thing that your band would be? Not necessarily Luda.
He can cover the beats. He can re-record the beats and cover it.
But you don't suppose sampling is what you know?
Because then I don't get paid.
But if you get a good lawyer. You hear a song on the piano. Would you ever do that? Like start giving up your beats?
I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't know what that means. Like
all of a sudden that Seven Nation Army riff ends up in a song and it's a hip hop
I guess someone
track.
said there in England a lot of DJs make mixes of that song, Seven Nation Army, with other songs, but I don't know, it's not my area of expertise, so I'll stop talking right.
It's like, yeah, forget it, we're not going to get into it. Not only music for this band here, but also movies, which is a cool thing, which ties us into, to a Speaker's Corner question we're going to get to in just a bit. But expanding your horizons off the stage, what is that like?
We were working with Jim Jarmusch on this movie, Coffee and Cigarettes, where we just played ourselves in the film, so it wasn't that big of a stretch.
Well, it actually ties into this question. The question right here from Speaker's Corner on the road this time, we go out west of Vancouver.
Hi, it's Alexandria from Vancouver, and I'm wondering how you guys got involved in Jim Jarmusch's film, Coffee and Cigarettes.
Now, you remember when Roberto Benigni won an Academy Award? Well, many years earlier, he was in a movie called Down by Law, which was with Tom Waits and such, and Jim Jarmusch put it together. He's kind of a legend in that world. And so to answer the question, how did you get in on that?
Jim came to see us. We played a free concert in New York City at Union Square, and is that when we first met him? I think he came to that, and he came and said hi, and we talked for a long while, and we seemed to, I don't know, it's one of those kind of people that when I first met them, I always felt like I was his best friend immediately. And I don't have any friends, so I said...
You got Meg.
No.
Meg, can I find out more about that, please?
No, he asked, he said he was working on this thing, and he had asked about that. And we said, yeah, of course, that sounded brilliant, because it was a Tesla coil. It involved, I'm a huge fan of the inventor, Nikola Tesla, and I'm showing Meg the Tesla coil that I built in my basement and in the film. So
Now, in the movie, Meg, as yourself, you are both skeptical and supportive at the same time. Is that an accurate depiction?
Skeptical. I don't know about supportive. I might be a little bit of a smartass in that one, actually.
she's sort of letting me think that I know what I'm talking about until the end, which is sort of pretty much how this band's been going for a while.
That's right. You should have told me 6 years ago. I mean, is it the kind of relationship that can exist for 5 albums? Like, after
I don't
this?
think. I don't know. I mean, it just depends. I mean, I think the best thing is that there's not a bunch of male egos in the band. I mean, that's really a hard thing in bands. I've been in a lot of bands like that, and that starts to butt heads like rams all the time, you know. And you see it in every band, from the Beatles on down to every bar band. You see that kind of arguing going on backstage. So it's funny, but we've never had that problem, you know.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yes. Well, see, sometimes when I've seen you guys play live and you get to that side mic by Meg's kit and you start getting into it and you guys are doing the whole stare at each other, I'm thinking, okay, how much of this is now the White Stripes playing the part, and how much
it's always about, I put that mic up there years ago. I mean, it was sort of, because we didn't play things, I wanted to change things in the middle of songs and go to another song, and so I needed the mic over there so I could sing and I could say, let's do that, you know. If we had